In the 2020s, a pandemic crippled the world. Some panicked, some denied it. These two guys stayed home, drank, and watched movies. These are the Jaymeson tapes.
April Fools, motherfuckers! Bet you weren't expecting this now, were ya?
No.
No, but no one was expecting the Spanish Inquisition either. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to the Jaymeson tapes.
Yeah. We've taken over the show.
We hijacked it. That's the prank. It's a prank, bro.
It's a prank, bro.
It's a prank, bro. That's just how it goes. I am David King.
And I'm Kayla King.
And as a married duo, we have successfully hijacked this podcast for April Fool's Day. Don't worry, the podcast we normally do has been hijacked otherwise, although it is kind of weird considering that Abysme and Alan are frequently and actually consistently co-hosts on Undercooked Analysis. So I guess it's not that weird.
Not really.
Yeah, so we just watched, in order to honor the spirit of what we're doing here as an April Fool's joke, we watched the 1986 horror thriller comedy? I don't know, April Fool's Day.
Yes, from 1986. We should probably, if I recall, because I'm trying to follow the format of Jaymeson tapes. What are we drinking, David?
Well, for the sake of this particular recording, we decided to mix up some dark and stormy. So Kayla did
which is funny because it's not a really dark and stormy movie. It's actually a pretty bright movie, all things considered.
All things considered, yeah. I mean, I don't want to give away too much, at least not at this junction. But I will say we did have a lot of fun watching it. It was more than I was expecting.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we've been just Kayla mixed it up. We got the traditional ingredients for it: ginger ale, specifically Gosling dark rum. And just to give it a little bit extra, you mixed in some lemon juice and a slice of lemon.
We actually have a lemon tree in our backyard, so it's a freshly picked lemon.
Which is always nice, because every time we do something like this, we're actually able to mix that with it. So it helps a lot. Why did we pick this movie? Well, I mean, besides obvious reasons, we actually contemplated doing a few different ones, but...
So what happened was we were talking, we had planned to do an April Fool's joke where we would do the Jaymeson tapes while Abby and Alan would do a UCA.
Which, by the way, all these will be coming out at the same time. So if you hear one before the other, just go for it. Go check out UCA. And you'll hear
Undercooked Analysis, sorry.
Yeah, Undercooked Analysis with Alan and Abysme reading a story that may or may not actually be written by... our old friend, Short Story One. Although, again, the verdict is out. Or the Rorschach is actually Short Story One, but we'll see. I'll leave it at that. Anyway.
So we were trying to figure out what would be a good movie for this. And I looked up, okay, is there an April Fool's movie? And there is. It's called April Fool's Day.
Yeah. I feel like it was kind of inevitable considering every other holiday in existence has a slasher movie. I mean, there's Valentine, My Bloody Valentine. There's New Year's Evil. There's
too many Christmas.
There's a Thanksgiving. So that's not particularly good, but there's several Christmas ones. I don't know if there's an Arbor Day one, but there should be.
I know
there is a President's Day.
I know there
is a President's Day.
I know there's a few Thanksgiving versions too.
I mean, the first one I thought of was Thanksgiving, which is unfortunately sad.
I think there's a President's Day.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's definitely some St. Patrick's Day ones.
We had we kept debating back and forth too. I suggested first A Girl Who Walks Alone at Night because I've been wanting to watch that, but I was like, no, let's go something a little more sillier. We thought of Freaked because Freaked actually came out on YouTube. I'm going to reveal that Freaked is now, the whole video is on YouTube for free. Go watch it.
We had previously seen Red Letter Media talk about Freaked, and it's not super widely available, but it is on YouTube. And I appreciate
the whole movie.
So, and I appreciate someone because it's got some amazing practical effects, even if they're kind of gross. So,
they got okay. We shouldn't talk about Freaked. Sorry.
Oh no. This is not about Freaked. This is about April Fool's.
Yeah, I also suggested The Love Witch because I've been wanting to see that, but
oh yeah, you did.
I thought April Fool's Day would be very on the nose, and I wasn't quite sure because I've heard it's not a great movie. But I had a lot of fun watching this. I had a lot of fun watching this.
I admittedly came into this movie with zero expectation. I was expecting kind of another cheesy slasher film.
Same.
It's a lot smarter and takes a lot more turns than I thought, especially when there's a twist and then a double twist at the end of it.
Yeah.
Now, I want to stress this because this is normally a thing on the Jaymeson tapes anyway. But if you decide you want to, we're going to go ahead and go full bore about this. But if you decide this is a movie you want to watch without any sort of inkling about what's going on, I highly recommend it. I actually think this was a great one to watch with the blinders completely on.
I agree.
I had no idea what to expect. And we were making a lot of educated, well, at least what we thought were educated guesses throughout the movie. But then we were thrown completely by the ending. It actually caught us completely off guard.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe that's because we've been drinking throughout the movie. And I want to stress right now, compared to Alan and Abysme, Kayla and I, maybe I'll speak for myself. I am a total lightweight. I'm already definitely a little buzzed.
If you can't tell, we're buzzed. And we're still drinking.
And we're still drinking because that's the spirit of the podcast. We'll be okay. It's just that I don't want to take that away from you if you decide to enjoy it. So I highly recommend checking it out. It's not even that long. It's like an hour and 30 minutes.
It's only an hour and a half. We rented it on YouTube for only $4. So
well worth it, I'd say. Like, again, I went into it zero expectations, came out really enjoying the movie. And if you want to get the full brunt of the twists of it, stop now and come back later, please.
Agreed.
I'm begging you. It's
Yes.
short watch.
It is, I would say watch it with friends because
Oh yeah.
it is a fun watch with friends.
Yeah, absolutely. But because I do want to talk about it with spoilers intact.
Yes.
So
there will be spoilers.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk about this movie without spoilers.
It kind of hinges on that.
Yeah.
It kind of hinges on its twists. So this is interesting because
it
already it's a movie about college kids instead of about like your typical teens in a slasher film.
I kind of
this
like
is
that.
This is 1986 too.
I like that.
So.
I like that it's because whenever usually films talk about teenage kids, it feels like they treat teenage kids as older than they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this doesn't, I don't know. I never felt like an adult as a teenager. So having this with college students, I'm like, yeah, that feels more realistic. Because as college students, I feel like I was making dumb choices.
But we all were. So, I mean, that's fair. And you never quite, there's a certain point in your life where you kind of outgrow that. And even look, later in life, you're going to make dumb choices too. But in this case, and you can kind of see the dumb choices adding up, but in some cases, but and there's some other things I do want to explore as we go through this, but because there's some things that were left kind of hanging, but I don't know.
So the film is set during, it opens with April Fool's Day, and actually it hints at that when we have a film cut of, or not, it looks like a 8mm film of a woman, and she says
she's on a dock somewhere, and she's just talking about her like it's like a profile.
And her
I
name,
don't remember.
And her name is no. I have to.
You remember?
No, I don't. Wow,
that's
too shit. But
at a certain point we remembered half the cast's name, but not the other half.
But
this is the first thing I said when I saw her. I remember was like, why is she wearing a doily? She's like wearing a doily on her denim jacket.
So I got to pray. So usually Sade babysits Abysme and Alan during these, but right now we have Abysme babysitting us.
Now he knows how it feels.
You're saying, see, this is the shit I deal with.
So you're welcome. You're welcome, Sade.
Sade, we appreciate all the work you do, and we love you.
Well, you all put together a really solid podcast anyway. I'm legitimately happy to be a part of this show.
I know. I love this show so much. So Abysme actually provided the Mary O'Reilly O'Toole O'Shea. That's not her real name.
Well, that's how she introduced herself, because she's talking about wanting to be in a convent and help handicapped kids, and she ends it with "I fuck on the first date." So, which is great. That immediately tells you the tone of this, that it's all going to be kind of like, haha, hoo-hoo, we don't take anything too seriously.
And then she says April Fools, or like they joke it's Ape Day.
Yeah. And then we get same millimeter footage. It's like a nice cut around. It's also Archie, and there's Archie Cummings.
Hold on.
Cumming?
I'd like to.
Or is it Art? Cumming?
So we
Arch.
have.
It's Arch.
It's
Arch.
Arch, yes.
Arch Cumming.
And
He wears a shirt that looks like it's a pair of suspenders, but it's not a pair of suspenders. And throughout the goddamn fucking movie, he keeps popping his collar. Like it's
the number of times this man pops his collar, I was like, we might need to take a drink every time he pops his collar.
we will die if we take a drink every time he pops his collar. We were actually drinking with some moderation, but at the same time, every time we popped his collar, we were just fucking busting up. It was something. I'm surprised I remember his name. It's him and what was the cousin's name?
Skip.
No, wait, was it
No,
Skip? It was Skip.
It was Skip.
Okay, so there was Skip. It's him and Skip. They say I fuck on the first date, but they immediately turn to each other like, yeah, we fucked each other on the first date. Wasn't it great?
Yes.
And they're laughing about it. And there's a scene later on that approved this, but one thing I will say to this movie's credit is there's jumping ahead a little, there's another little scene where two male characters find out they're rooming together and they start joking about, oh, we're gonna like sleep together. And they just lean into it. They like jump on the bed and they hug each other and they start laughing and they're like, one of them kisses the other's forehead.
There was a point where we're like, are the straights okay? And where you were like, yeah, in this movie, the straights are definitely okay, apparently.
In this movie, the straights are okay.
They are so comfortable with their sexuality
and they can joke about it with their male friends and not think anything else. They're like, ooh, no homo. Like this is actually like, it's kind of endearing. It made me this moment, and then a moment later, that moment we're talking about later where we're jumping ahead, actually did endear those characters to me a bit. Mm-hmm. Admittedly, we were complaining a lot about the character development early on, but it's actually handled really well as you look at the whole thing in a big picture.
I will admit I don't remember the characters' names as much. Well, and I do think Abysme, forgive me, the names of the characters.
Yeah, let's get to them kind of in order because we meet doily shirt girl, so doily jacket girl.
So doily jacket girl is Nikki.
That's Nikki. Okay.
Yes.
And then we get Arch and we get Skip.
Skip is the cousin.
Skip's the cousin. Then we get the other girl that is dating
Kit.
Kit?
So we got technically final girl and final boy.
We do have a final girl and final boy in this.
Sort of.
We'll
get into that. Named Kit, and I forget. Is it Rob?
It's Rob. Or
okay.
Rob.
Rob. It's Rob.
So you have Kit and Rob. They're the ones that at the beginning are confirmed to be in an item. Like everybody else is kind of separate, but they're an item.
But eventually, some of them kind of fuck and flirt with each other. Chaz is our asshole filmmakers.
Chaz is the one holding the camera, so we don't see him until we cut back to him later. But we got Chaz,
and then we got Hal/Harvey.
He shows up late.
Okay, so his name is Harvey, but he goes by Hal. And Hal is like, I don't know how to explain him. He's kind of like he's old money as well.
Yeah, I want to stress these are a bunch of preppy college kids.
Yes.
Oh, it dawns on, and wait, hold on.
Except for Kit and Kit and Rob.
Kit and Rob are not?
At least that's what it's hinted at. Is that Kit and Rob?
Well, they're all friends from college. We know that.
Yeah, I think it gives the hint that they're all like rich, privileged. You know how drunk I am right now.
Yeah. Well, I wanna stress that one thing. I just thought of this. One thing that doesn't happen is there's not really a comeuppance for all of them, as much as we thought there would be, because there's not really a commentary here about old money and all these rich people doing these absurd things. There might be, but we're gonna have to like get a little deeper before we kind of.
And then we have
discuss that.
Well, first there was a nerdy girl, she's like, I need to study college college, and
this was
her name was Nan.
This is Nan. Okay.
I feel like I'm drunk, and as I say these words, it feels like just gibberish coming out of my mouth.
It's okay, love.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know how Abysme and Alan do this, and I am
Abysme and Alan have years of experience.
Yes, they do.
They are very good at this. Okay.
God bless.
So by my recollection, they're all to stress, they're all at a ferry dock and they're waiting to go for a getaway to their friend Muffy St. John's home, which is on an island out in a presumably either Pacific Northwest or like somewhere northwest-ish, like coastal area.
Yeah.
Like
although
it could.
Both of us were like, Muffy, are you fucking kidding
That
me?
was funny. Muffy is a very like rich person name.
It is. It really is.
And then we cut from the film grain situation to Muffy moving a bunch of like mannequins.
What?
And suddenly mannequin. Oh God, is this gonna be Maniac again? Oh, there's our killer. Calling it now.
The mom?
No, her.
Or well, no, it's
Well, I mean, she's carrying around creepy mannequins. She's inviting her friends, these people, to an isolated island.
okay. Yeah.
I'm just saying, genre savvy. Is our killer.
Yeah.
Because they said this movie has a twist ending, and I'm like, I see the twist already. Look, if it's not this, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I've heard this movie has a twist ending.
Well, if it's a twist that's not this, I'll be surprised. And
She's having flashbacks to when she was a kid and she got a present of a Pop Goes the Weasel
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. I kept making references to Drop Dead Fred about this because that's what Drop Dead Fred like. He ends. Okay, don't see Drop Dead Fred.
Don't see it.
Go see April Fools. Just don't see Drop Dead.
There's only one line I remember from Drop Dead Fred, and that's when he's hiding under the skirt, and he looks up and he goes, "Cobwebs." Wow. It's a dumb movie.
It is a stupid ass movie. Carrie Fisher, you're better than this.
No.
You shouldn't have been
Carrie
in that
Fisher's
movie.
in it?
Yeah, she's
I'd
in.
forgotten.
Yes. Sorry. Back to April Fool's Day.
Yeah. So Muffy, we get the flashback, and I gotta say, I do like the music in this movie. It's very synthy.
It's
like a synth pop kind of
It
like
uses a theremin.
or a
occasionally.
pseudo theremin. It's not even a real theremin. It's like a synth vibe that gives you that kind of theremin feel, but it is clearly like some early 80s synth. And I liked it. I actually liked the music in this movie a lot. And actually the pacing was pretty good. I knew this from this flashback that there was something associated with at a young age, the fact that when she turns the whole thing is at the birthday party, a young Muffy turns this Jack in the Box and a monster instead of a Jack in the thing comes out.
Not a real monster, but like
It's a monster puppet. It's actually pretty grotesque. And everyone just starts laughing and going, ha ha ha. Like it's clearly a prank thing. And this is something that's affected her.
I will say though, the editing in this is very strange.
Yes.
It's noticed very early on because it cuts back to her like looking at this Jack in the Box and cutting back to her memories, and the editing on it already feels strange. And even then, the lighting on that scene too, which is funny because, excuse me, the lighting on the rest of the movie. I feel like I'm gonna burp throughout this, but this is very fitting.
This is part of the course for Jaymeson tapes. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely. There have been two times I can remember being drunk on podcasts, and one of them was for UCA, like drunk like this was for a UCA, and the other one was Dinosaur for Anna Musings.
Anna Musings?
Yes. If you want to hear me drunk, listen to Anna Musings. That's another podcast we do. Okay.
So there's a ferry captain and there's a ferry assistant by the name of Buck.
Yes.
They all get on this ferry, and there's some foreshadowing. There was definitely some clear shots to a hook, like a rope being thrown over a pier pylon to make sure that it's secure. There's a very clear emphasis on the front of the ferry and the ferry bumping into the dock, and there's like a metal front of the ferry that's kind of rusty green.
Also, they make it so the hold on, what's the name of the king character? Who is it Rob? Oh no, Chaz. Who's the fucking filmmaker?
It's Chaz.
Chaz keeps making a joke about, your
fly is down and your dong is hanging out.
Yes, and actually, when he enters the boat, he's like, your fly is down and your dong is hanging out, and he looks down and he kisses him on the forehead. And I'm like, yeah, no, sexuality is definitely in check here.
Again, the straights are okay in this movie.
Yes, the straights are okay.
Even if they're not straight, I appreciate how candid they all are. And that's like an A+ for this movie now, watching it in 2023, the enlightened year of our Lord 2023. But yeah, so there's some emphasis on certain shots, and they set out. And there's some hints about some drama. Um, Clearly, Rob is kind of sensitive about something. He and
Kit.
Kit are a little bit at odds about something. Hal is trying to get with Nikki.
Chaz is trying to get with Nikki.
Oh wait, that was Nikki.
Yeah,
No, okay.
Chaz is because
It's Nikki. Is it
Nikki was the person who pretended like that she was going to join a coven.
Oh yeah, no, Nick. That was Nikki. So
Nunnery or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, no. So who was the third girl?
Third girl is
The college girl.
Nan.
So Nan is reading Paradise Lost, and of course Chaz rolls up with his copy of fucking some Playboy smut.
Boudoir.
It's boudoir, and you know what? I'm actually kind of surprised for a movie that was labeled with all this like wanting to get like sexually explicit. We did not see a single titty in this.
I was expecting titty.
There was no titty.
There was no titty.
There was close to some titty, but never any titty. And what I appreciate about this movie is that there was never any real nudity. And even when you see characters like legitimately having sex, you don't actually see anything. Well, and it's actually played up as pretty absurd. I mean, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Okay.
But
they're all talking about shit on the boat. A couple of the characters, I think it's Arch and Skip are playing
I will say
some game involving a switchblade.
I will say this is where you see the editing is weird because it cuts from conversation to conversation. But they keep on the conversations for too short of time and then go to another one and then go to another one and then go back to the other one. And it just feels a little more awkward than it almost comes across. You know what? I was going to make a similarity between this and a soap opera, but at least with a soap opera, soap operas end with a like, oh, I'm going to make a reveal, and then it's quiet for like two or 3 seconds and then cuts to a new scene and then comes back to it.
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's just it cuts in the middle of a conversation and then comes back to that conversation. But it's just like, but it happens so quickly that the editing in this is a bit weird.
I mean, at least for this part. This is the part where I'm like, I want to get to know these characters more, but it feels like we're not. And that gave me the impression this movie was more shallow than it actually was.
The funny part about this film is that when you first watch it, you're like, yeah, I'm going to watch a stereotypical slasher film. And then you get to know the characters more, and then you're like, holy shit, I think I might be invested in these characters.
That was actually kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
So they go out on the ferry. We have some scenes. There's some scenes involving a switchblade. The first of several pranks comes up when it looks like there's an argument between Arch and Skip, and Arch throws the knife at Skip and it sticks in his gut and he falls in the water.
In a great effect, by the way. But
yeah, somehow this prank is done really well.
Oh shit! Already?
This barely into this, and that already happened.
How much you bet he's pranking?
It's a prank.
It's a prank, bro. It's a prank, bro. How did they plan that ahead of time? I have no idea.
Well, the impression we're getting from all these characters is that they love practical jokes. Like,
yes.
All of them, with the exception of maybe Rob and Kit. I don't know, but they all seem to really love practical jokes. Because again, Chaz is doing the whole thing with the fly down and everything. So they all dive in the water to try and find Skip, but Skip's fine. So they all come up. Buck, meanwhile, stays in the water. He tries to throw the rope over the pylon.
Hold on. This is happening while they finally are reaching shore to the island that they're going to be staying on.
Right.
And Buck decides to stay in the water. It's like, while I'm still here, even though I jumped in to save this guy, which turned out to be a prank, I'm going to just stay here and throw a rope on this pylon and keep doing it because I keep failing. And then the boat hits him in the head.
And the more important thing is it looks like it hits him, and then everybody looks into the water, and he pops up, and half of his face is gored, and his like eyeball is hanging out.
Yes,
and he's screaming and flailing. It's actually pretty horrific. Good practical effects there. They like grab him and throw him into the sheriff's boat because the sheriff happens to be nearby, constable, and then he's like, "You all got to stay here because I'm going to figure out what's going on." And then he leaves with Buck to take him to a hospital. So that's the first like horrific thing that happens. And Skip is clearly shook by this because this is all his prank.
Because here's the funny part. Skip, or not funny part. It's not funny because
It was to us.
yeah, Skip does this prank, and he thinks it's all his fault. His fault. I'm drunk. It,
Me too, but it's okay.
it's okay. It's his. He thinks it's his fault that he jumps in the water because Buck jumped in the water to save him. But both David and I were like, no, this is Buck's fault completely. Because, I mean, there were two people who jumped into the water same one. It was Buck and I can't remember.
Chaz didn't jump in, but I think Kit?
No, not Kit.
Rob.
Rob did.
Rob did.
Rob came back, actually went back on the ferry, but Buck decided to stay in and was like, you know what? Since I'm here, I'm going to just start putting this rope on the pylon. Why couldn't he have done that on the ferry? That's his decision. There is no reason for Skip. I mean, Skip still felt guilty.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not his fault. I don't blame him at all. But he blames himself, and he feels this like sense of guilt.
Now, this is important to remember because later on we learn some stuff about the whole situation that throws it off. But even so, some of them try to shark it off, and they go to Muffy's house. And we met Muffy earlier, but we finally meet Muffy proper, and Muffy is, playing hostess.
The house is really nice.
That's the whole idea. The house is really nice.
The location is gorgeous. I want to live on this island.
Yeah, they do a good job. There's one shot when they're establishing the house where you see a mountain in the distance, and I'm like, I don't know if this is really on an island, but I like the idea that they're isolated. And they really lean into the idea that this is like a closed circle mystery. The fairy won't be back for a while. Clearly, someone's got the setup to kill people. And one of them even references Agatha Christie.
Well, so I made an early on joke that says, isn't this just the premise to And Then There Were None?
It's basically that.
Yeah, it's okay. Kind of. Kind of. Let's be honest here.
Kind of. Big kind of.
Big kind of.
I don't know how much you want to
reveal yet.
Delve into this, but
so for right now, it is that kind of sort of situation for this film. That's right, Gracie. That it's going to be similar to And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, where each person is. So for those who don't know, Agatha Christie is a mystery writer, and she wrote.
I appreciate you giving this for the uninitiated out there.
Thank you. Agatha Christie is a mystery writer from I want to say 20s, 30s, 40s. Long time period. And I want to say her most famous book, but it's one of her most famous books. It's called And Then There Were None. Originally called 10 Little Indians, but then she said, that's kind of not kosher.
Yeah. Go figure.
So it was called And Then There Were None. And this is actually a basis for a lot of mystery plots where multiple people are brought to a mansion or a secluded location, and then each person is killed off one by one, and we're not sure who the killer is. And the plot here is very similar. A lot of people come to this island, and which is funny because And Then There Were None. It's 10 people that are brought to this island. Mm-hmm. Usually it's a location a la Clue or something like that. But with this one, it's a legitimate island.
Right.
For both And Then There Were None and April Fool's Day. And then each person is killed off, and then it turns out it's at the end that we reveal who the killer is. And then in this case, it's definitely a twist. Let's put it that way.
Well, either way, they're all here to have a good time. They're clearly leaning on the prank thing still, because even at dinner, there's more pranks that happen. And they all talk about it being rich and privileged. One of the reveals is that Rob was he was going to be is he going on to medical school?
So so Muffy is saying that she's about to turn 21. In next month, or
yes, and this is her
inheritance.
This house is going to be part of her inheritance someday.
I'm going to safely assume the rest of the students, or not students, the rest of her guests are at the age of 20, 21 years old.
They're all around the same age, I think.
About to graduate.
Yeah, they're all in college together. They all kind of establish how they've met. And they're all
kind of strangers to each other. Well, some of them are.
Sort of. Some of them don't know each other, but they all are mutual friends of Muffy.
Yes.
Like no one knew Hal really until he got there. And obviously people think Skip introduces himself as Muffy's cousin.
Yes.
So he's part of the same family. And I'm surprised I'm remembering all these names now. Some of them I didn't remember, but we have Abby's notes to thank for that.
Thank you, Abysme. You're an amazing babysitter right now.
But
Sade would be absolutely proud of you right now.
So Kit is like encouraging, but Rob is kind of sore about the fact that his counselor said like, well, the grades show it, but you don't really have the ambition to be like in the medical field.
That's a shitty counselor.
Rob is clearly very sore about that, and he's not frustrated. Now it's interesting because like when we set up, hold on.
Okay. What his counselor says is you're not serious enough.
You're not serious enough. Thank you. That's clearly something that gets to Rob. And the interesting thing is, I don't know if we knew necessarily that these two were going to be like the finals in this story, but as I look back on it retrospectively, it does make sense.
Yes. It makes sense because they're kind of
they're the only characters that have any real strife going on. Well, not really.
Well, they're the straight men in the situation. For the most part.
They're the least prankstery of the rest of the group.
Well, not the least prankstery, but like Nan, they all have definite personalities. These two are like the straight men that don't have any. You're right, straight men that don't have any strife personalities.
I mean, they have strife with what's going on with themselves, but they're not like whatever. And there's some stuff that gets established. Like Skip, he's off doing some shit. He's drinking fucking Bacardi out of a bottle while howling at the moon.
Did I just call him Strife?
Strife. You're like the last of the Green Bay bucket kickers. You're reading the book and you're just like the newspaper and you just look up Strife.
Skip. So Skip is right now being like, I am so miserable because I think I might have like hurt Buck because of my prank, and he's drinking himself to like.
Yeah, so he's out somewhere else. To be fair, Muffy makes a toast about the friendship she's made with all her friends. They go to drink the bubbly she's giving them, and it's something gross, so they all spit it out. And it's another April Fool's prank to further establishing her. And actually, all over the house, there's all these pranks with like doorknobs that pop off, faucets that squirt hot water, a lamp. There's a really funny scene with Rob and Kit where there's like a lamp that they try to turn off, and it switches another lamp on, and they turn that lamp and switches another lamp on. And you can say it always seems very good natured, at least at first.
I don't know why, but for some reason, 80s movies, everybody needs to sleep in their underwear.
I gotta tell you, those tidy whities are not doing Rob any favors.
No. But here's the funny part. So there was not the funny part, but here's something interesting. So I'm looking at Muffy and I'm like, Muffy looks so familiar. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me. And thank you to Abysme for looking up. And it was Deborah Foreman. I'm like, oh, wait, she was from Valley Girl, which I had seen a long time ago. Or actually, I've seen quite a bit.
Oh my God. For sure. She's the Valley Girl. So and she's no cure.
Okay, so she's the lead of Valley Girl, which also has Nicolas Cage in it. And
oh fuck, that's right.
Yeah. So my sister and I have both watched this film, Valley Girl, and we make jokes about it all the fucking time. It's a movie we watched quite a few times. So like one of the jokes that we have with Valley Girl, I feel like I should do a review on Valley Girl at some point. Because my sister and I, if we got into a review about Valley Girl, the shit we would say about
I'll pay money to listen to you two talk about
I'm going to go on a tangent here about Valley Girl
go ahead.
For a sec.
You're allowed for a split second.
So the beginning...
Time's up. No,
shut up.
I'm kidding.
Fuck you. So Valley Girl opens up in a mall, which happens to be at Del Amo Mall, which is the mall that my sister and I grew up with. That was actually the mall that I had my first job at.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, whoa, this is kind of trippy. And then Nicolas Cage shows up, and it's baby Nicolas Cage.
Baby Nicolas Cage.
Baby Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
And the whole thing is a relationship between him and Deborah Foreman, but Deborah Foreman is the valley girl, rich girl with very hippie parents for some weird reason.
Uh-huh.
But here's another weird thing too. One of her best friends is played by E.G. Daily, who
Oh, no way.
yeah, E.G. Daily, for those who don't know, is the voice of Tommy Pickles, but she's
A
also
baby's got to do what a baby's got to do.
and you see her boobs in it. You see Tommy Pickles. You see.
No!
I'm going to hell.
Listen. I'm all good with seeing E.G. Daily's boobs. That's fine. Please never refer to them as Tommy Pickles boobs ever again.
I'm so sorry.
Please. You gave me, like you sent a shock through my system so strong, I almost sobered up completely.
It's like, whoa, I just lost all my alcohol.
Like it all retreated into me. Okay.
My PCA, what is it? Alcohol contact? Alcohol.
My blood alcohol level just like dropped significantly because, okay, thank you for this sobering image. Let's talk about
Yes. April Fool's.
Okay, so all this shit happens. They all go off their separate ways. There's pranks that happen when they go to individual rooms. Muffy teases Arch. Arch doesn't do a thing. He pops his collar a fucking shit ton. And then we get our first kill with Skip, who has been away. He goes to like.
Hold on. Before we
No.
get to, no.
We have to keep moving.
No, I'm going to back up for a second because there are pranks that are actually kind of dark. Because
Thank you. Okay, yeah, the dark pranks. Okay.
Because Hal gets a prank where it shows like he sees news clippings on a closet that says murders in a fog or people disappear in a fog.
People die in a fiery car wreck. Like, yeah, I forgot. Those are all in drawers in his room.
And then Dan hears a baby crying on a tape recorder in her closet. And you realize later on, oh, these are all very...
One of them finds like a dog collar. I think, was that Nikki? Like, Nikki finds a dog collar in her, like, room. What Chaz finds, like, stuff to like do heroin in his like, or like the paraphernalia to do heroin in his like medicine cabinet. It's kind of fucked up. And clearly someone is like knows them and is leaving these things as like these are like your sins laid out before you or something that only they would know. Although it is really funny when like Chaz is locked out of he goes to try and score with Muffy. Muffy rejects him. He goes to a different room. That doesn't work. He goes into another room, opens the door. No, wait.
Wait, pause.
He pops his collar.
He goes to before he tries to hit on Muffy. Muffy says no. Pops his collar. Tries to open a door. Door doesn't open. Or
pops his collar.
Pops his collar.
He opens another door. Chaz and Nikki are having sex.
In the weirdest way.
It's a hilarious position, like that feels almost tantric, but you don't see anything, and they don't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. He just closes the door and leaves. They just carry on like that. Pops his collar. Again, we will die of alcohol poisoning for how much this man pops his fucking suspender adjacent collar because he's got these patterns on his shirt that look like suspenders. And then he finally just goes to his own fucking room. Chaz and Nikki continue to do their thing. But let's get to Skip. So Skip goes down. He's got the switchblade that they used for the prank. And he goes down to the boathouse to, I don't know, smoke. Oh, is that weed?
Oh, my.
Dude. Don't do this drunk.
Doesn't look like weed. At this point, I don't think he really fucking cares.
Don't smoke anything. Oh, what is that? A blade of grass? Smoke that.
I'm gonna get more.
What is that? A dead raccoon? Smoke that.
Hold on, I'm gonna get more booze.
Get more booze?
Yeah.
Should we pause?
I mean, Playboy about to smoke a fur.
So Skip goes into the boathouse, and it gets to the obvious, like, he's gonna die, because he's in the dark, he's alone. They try to legitimately pull a cat scare on us, when clearly from off-screen, someone throws a fucking cat at him in the dark.
I think it's the assumption the cat, like...
Yeah, but it's so obvious that someone just picked up a cat and threw it at him that I almost think it was a legit, like, knowing what we know now, someone picked up a cat and threw it at him to throw him off. And then someone grabs him and pulls him off screen, and we never see Skip again.
I will say I was trying to get fill up another drink, another dark and stormy during this point. So I was half in, half out.
Yeah, well, anyway, Skip gets pulled off camera, and there's dramatic music sting. The next day, they're all out. They're like, "Hey, has anybody seen Skip?" And they're like, "I don't know." And then they like play soccer out in the yard or some bullshit. Nan's trying to do work, but she sees Muffy going off to some side house, and she's clearly mad at Muffy about the tape recorder. So she goes out to confront her. Meanwhile, Nikki, no, not Nikki, Kit, fuck, Kit and Rob are at the dock. I guess they went swimming because Rob doesn't have a shirt on for some reason. And they're talking about how, are you mad at me for last night? He's like, I just don't know if I'm ever going to go over. I might be a TV repairman. She's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And clearly she doesn't give a shit what he is. She's into him. So they go to fuck in the boathouse.
Pause. Or, well, you can keep talking. I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, that's fine. You do that. I'll keep talking. So they go to fuck in the boathouse. And again, I was expecting there to be some titty. No titty. This movie is surprisingly high class, considering that they had every opportunity. There's even a scene earlier where Nikki like leans out a window and she's got an open shirt and she's just in her like shirt and panties, and the shirt's open and there's any moment she could be stretching and some titty can be seen. No titty. And Hal's out there doing some fucking armbar work with like exercise equipment that he just hand exercise equipment. And he looks over and says, "Good morning." And she immediately is like, "Ah!" And she covers up and ducks back in. But again, no titty. So I'm sitting here going, is this an 80s slasher movie or what? This movie subverts so many expectations, and it's kind of refreshing because what's nice is that they go into the boathouse. Kat and Rob go into the boathouse, and and she throws a towel down, grabs his crotch. They start to go at it. And as they're doing it, Kit looks down and she sees the corpse, or presumably the corpse of Skip, float past on a boat. He looks dead. She freaks out. They go looking for him and she's like, they think it's a prank from Skip.
Honestly, that's a cool freaking scene.
Oh no, it was a really good scene. I thought it was really neat. I was laughing, but it was a really good reveal. It felt very on point for this kind of genre. And they go looking for him, but they can't find him. So they're like, what the fuck, dude? And they all go out into different directions looking for him. And by the way, we saw Muffy a little earlier. Her hair's bedraggled. She's acting very differently. She seems a little unhinged. And I had earlier said, oh, fuck, though, she's probably the killer because she's luring everyone out to this island. But that felt too obvious. So I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, there's going to be another twist somewhere. So later on, their searching doesn't yield much. Is it No, it's not Chaz. It's Arch. Arch goes out into the woods, right?
Yes.
And he's got a big stick to hit stuff with.
Yes. And there's a snake.
Yeah, there's this big tease with a snake.
Honestly,
he almost gets bit by a snake. And
honestly, that snake, if I would have seen that snake, I would have been like, fuck this. Nope.
He didn't see the snake, though.
No,
he gets caught in a snare trap instead.
But I saw that snake and I was like, nope, fuck this. And I would.
And the snake almost bites him, but then someone clears the snake aside. We don't see who they are. And he looks shocked. And then we cut away. So far, we haven't seen anyone die on camera. They don't know where Arch is. A little before this, Nan confronts Muffy in the side house about, how did you know about this? She seems really upset about the baby tape. We don't know exactly what it's about, but me and Kayla were thinking, oh, it's probably either like a baby that was given away or it was an abortion or something.
It actually gets revealed. Well, God, the ending just changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets revealed before the ending. It gets revealed that it was an abortion. I'm like, oh my God. Whoa.
Well, knowing what we know with the ending, it makes the pranks especially mean-spirited.
Yes.
But we see Nan go out, sit by a Buddha statue, be all sad. And then we cut away from her. The water in the house isn't working. Like what looks like blood is coming out of one of the faucets, right?
I thought it was just brown shit.
It looked like brown shit. To me, it looked like blood.
Okay.
I don't know. It could be anything. So they're like, well, we're going to need fresh water. So
go to the well.
Yeah. So it's Nikki, right? Nikki
and
Hal
Yes.
go out to the well. There's a well on property. And they try to put the bucket in there, but the bucket falls off. And she tries to look down with a flashlight. She drops the flashlight. So Nikki goes into the well. There's like rungs on the side. She falls in. A couple of severed heads bob to the surface in the well. It's Arch and Skip. And then while she's flailing, trying to get out of the well, and Hal's trying to get down there to reach her, another body bobs to the surface, and it's Nan.
And
I didn't realize it was Nan.
I will say the one thing that I don't like about this film is all the deaths happen off screen, and I hate that. I want to look. I'm someone when I watch a horror movie or something like this, I want to see a death on screen.
True, but again, with the way the ending is, it makes sense in context.
Yes.
What seems to be a corpse floats to the surface with a big slash on the throat. She's clearly been killed. They all freak out. Finally, someone gets them out of the well because we cut to them later in the house and they're all bedraggled. Everybody's freaking out. They're trying to get through.
That is actually a genuinely good scare because I did not because we saw heads of these two men that were like, oh shit.
We knew they had died.
But then when Nan appeared, we're like, oh shit, she died?
Yeah, that was shocking to me too.
Yeah.
So, and again, we'll talk about this in context when we get to the ending because I have some questions here. But so they're trying to get the constable. They can't reach the constable. They try for a bit. Muffy is still acting really weird, which is, of course, getting everybody on edge.
I will say that I noticed that Muffy's personality in the evening was very different from Muffy's personality in the morning.
Yeah. Well, she looked all bedraggled, and I even said, oh, this is probably her first kill.
Yes.
So she's leaning into it. So they are all told when they all don't know what to do. They don't know what happened to Nan. They don't know what happened to the others, but they know they need to get out of there. Am I forgetting something?
Hold on.
Because eventually the sheriff does get back in touch with them, with the constable, and tells them that, because they think it might be Buck.
I will say, so Nan, before she dies, we see her cry, and it's crying next to a Buddha.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
There's a Buddha statue. Okay.
There's a Buddha statue, which I thought was really funny.
Okay.
But yeah, so they think it might be Buck, because Buck would want revenge.
There is a point where, like, Muffy gives her water, and Nikki freaks out. She's like, don't worry, it's Perrier. I'm like, you've had Perrier this whole fucking time?
So they have water. That's not a big deal. But then fucking... they finally get a call back from the constable. He says, no, I've been here with Buck all day.
Oh yeah, because they thought it was Buck. Like
they were thinking it might be Buck, because Buck is the only one who would want revenge on them for having fucking punched his fucking eye out because of their pranks.
Yes. So they thought, oh, Buck must be the one killing all this, and they're like, no, the constable was, or not constable.
The constable, yeah. Well, we'll call him the constable because that's what they refer to him. He's been with them all day, so he's in the hospital. So they can rule him out. So now they know it's probably one of them that's doing the killing. So he tells them, according to what Rob says on the phone, he tells them all they have to stick together and not leave until he sends up a flare to let them know that he's coming to the dock to pick them up.
Well, there's a point where I think it's Kit who looks around and she sees a picture of two like young people.
Oh, because they're trying to secure all the doors and windows just in case there's another prowler.
And she sees two young people in a picture, and we're like, oh shit, it's twins. It's cool.
So then we're immediately like, oh, okay, there's an evil twin involved.
Yeah, Muffy has an evil twin. And
because, and Muffy is still acting really weird, so it seems like a complete heel turn. So now, of course, we're considering that. They're all debating sticking together, but Muffy makes it clear that she doesn't want to. It's her house. She can do what she wants. So she leaves. They all start talking about all the weird, mean-spirited, like, hints of stuff they find in their rooms.
Yeah, they think they're...
Like the notes about the car accidents.
And I think they're thinking, like, oh, it must be Muffy, maybe.
Like it's a revenge thing, because Muffy would know them that well.
Yes.
So, because they're all so frustrated, they all end up being really stupid. They all split up and go different directions.
I think there's a point where they're like, earlier on, it's like, wait, we should split up. And I'm like, I think this movie's kind of self-aware.
No, the movie, the thing that's so great about the ending of this movie, it reveals how self-aware the movie is.
It does.
Which is so good. This movie subverted so many of my expectations. And I know we've been withholding a lot, but that's because you're now on this journey with us if you come this far and haven't watched the movie. You fools, go watch it. So, They
Oh, we get to like Chaz and Nikki. Like Chaz is joking with isn't like Chaz joking with her, and Nikki's like, "Fuck, I'm getting out of here," and she's packing up. And there's some weird shots.
oh yeah.
I don't know why there's like a weird shot of like where you don't see their faces while she's packing, but it's there. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
there's some artistic choices. We completely skipped over the cat eye clock behind the painting.
oh, that's right.
Because there's another prank that happens later where you see that there's that classic haunted house trope of the
Cat eyes.
the eyes behind the painting that watch you move. So, but they're moving back and forth. So they move the painting off the wall, which has the eyes cut in it, and there's just one of those cat eye clocks. But that's important because that painting with the eye holes cut in it comes in later.
Yes.
So I just wanted to bring that up. So they are all kind of off doing their thing, checking rooms, making sure. Nikki and Chaz are having an argument. Chaz is still trying to kind of like calm Nikki down, so he's trying to be all like sexy and shit, which is super ridiculous.
He's wearing like fucking S&M, like
It's like a mask.
but there's a term for it. Bring out the God.
Yeah, clearly it cracks her up, but she leaves. And he's
Oh
like,
my God.
Nikki,
No,
come back.
No, what's
It's a GIMP mask.
Yes, GIMP. Thank you. Abysme, you're amazing. Thank you. It's a GIMP mask. He wears 2 GIMP masks, actually.
2 different GIMP masks, so to
And
speak.
then it gets hinted that Chaz has been killed.
Yeah, because again, everything happens off screen, so you kind of see the anticipation, but you don't see it actually happen.
And then Nikki comes back.
We were at this point, we were like, "What the fuck, dude?" So
Nikki comes back, and she's like, "Oh, come on, Chaz."
he's got his hands like folded over his crotch.
Yeah, and she's like, "You're just being silly." And then when she opens his hands, it shows that he was stabbed in the dick, and I'm like, "Oh shit!"
And then, of course, as that happens, the door opens behind her, and then we cut away.
Yes.
To now we only have Chaz, or no, not Chaz.
Not Chaz.
We only have Rob
And
Kit left. And they don't know what to. Oh no, Hal was like hanging out on the stairs, but he heard some stuff, so he decides to go upstairs and he disappears.
Because later they discover it looks like he hanged himself, but it probably was done by a killer.
Oh yeah, because like what happens after that is they're going through the house trying to find people. They only see blood dripping from the match. Oh no, they find the dolls in the attic.
Yes.
And two of the dolls are just because there was a thing about a doll that they had on the table at dinner. And then they find some dolls in the attic, which might represent all of them. There's a bowl of water that has one of the dolls that's representing
Nan.
and then the 2 dolls representing Arch and Skip. Their heads are floating in it, so they think that. And then there's 2 bloody dolls that represent Nikki and Chaz that are lying on a thing. So they go to find them because their door is locked. And sure, actually, I remember this. Doesn't Nan try to leave a room, but the doorknob pops off?
Yes, it does.
That's right. Because just like earlier, there's some good foreshadowing in this movie.
Not
some good
Nan.
Chekhov's
Not
prank.
Nan pulls it off. I think it's
No, it's Nan or not Nan. No, it's not Nan. It's Nikki.
yes,
Okay,
Nikki.
so Nikki pulls it off because Nikki's one of the only ones left at this
Yeah.
point. But then she gets killed off, and then so it's just while they're up in the attic, they see the flare from the distance. They see the flare out in the distance. They're like, we got to go find the boat. So they go looking for the others. They presumably see the corpses of Chaz and Nikki on the bed. You don't see them on camera, but you see the blood dripping down the covers. They freak out. They run. They go to another room. They find Hal's body hanging from a noose.
And they freak out. And then they said, fuck this, we're going to escape. They go in a boat and
they go. Yeah, they run down to the boathouse, right?
Yeah, and they just say, fuck this, we're gonna like hop. I guess they're thinking of like trying to leave on a boat, but they can't find the keys. But it is hinted at that the keys are in the kitchen.
Now, this felt, they hinted at this earlier because, this movie is so good. So, and I wasn't expecting this. So, in the boat, they find a fucking envelope with a note about someone who is called Miss St. John, who escaped from a mental institution.
Yes. Well, although I find this,
though it felt really, you were saying this too. It felt really weirdly out of place.
Well, why would you put it on a fucking boat? Like, oh, Miss St. John was in an asylum. They're like, why would she in an asylum? That's so weird. And they go back, and we're like, oh, it's the evil twin. It's the evil twin. Holy shit. Look, I've seen so many movies where they've done this, where it's like, oh, it turns out to be an evil twin. Ha ha ha. Same with books and shit. So they go up back to the kitchen, and there's the way they have to go back into the house is they go through the basement, which is it's nice that they hinted at this. Earlier on, you do see, I think it's Muffy. Yes, it's Muffy who leaves the basement window open, and then they decide to enter through the basement window. And they look at the on the wall, they see like, I believe it's like height. So when you're a kid and parents will measure your height, they measure, it looks like the height measurements of Muffy, and apparently a twin sister named Buffy, and we both laughed our asses off. Muffy.
Muffy and Buffy? Buffy?
Yes! Muffin Buffy!
It's a Vampire Slayer!
Yes, I knew it! I fucking knew it! They see the painting that was hiding the cat originally, the cat clock originally, and they're like, oh shit, what is this? And the eyes, and it looks like weird eyes, and then they remove the painting, and it's fucking Muffy's head.
Muffy's severed head. It's fucked. Sorry.
Oh no, Buffy, the evil twin.
God, I lost my shit so much at the Buffy thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all been revealed. Buffy's coming to kill them because she's fucking Vampire Slayer bitch ass motherfucker.
Why are we so drunk?
I don't know. So
why am I still drinking?
Because you want to. So we get the confrontation, right? They're the only two left. Buffy's coming to kill them. She's got this big machete ass knife that she uses to try and pick the kitchen door. They're trying to find the key to the boat. There's a final stand in the kitchen. Somehow, and I kind of missed this part, Rob gets locked in a cupboard.
Oh yeah,
that was hilarious.
That was hilarious. That was weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a standoff between Kit and Buffy. But then during the standoff between Kit and Buffy, the reveal happens, and both Dave and I were like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Okay, listen. This is your last chance to turn back. If you stuck with us this long and haven't seen the movie, I swear, please go watch it.
Pause it now. Go see the movie.
I am kind of impressed how this movie subverted expectations, and maybe that's just because we were drinking while we watched it, and maybe you could have seen the twist coming a mile away. But for an April Fool's movie, it's not just pranking the people in it, it's pranking the audience because it expects you to try and think about this.
So Abysme and I, after this, we both were like, I'm not sure if we're mad about this or impressed.
I was impressed.
Yeah. I was impressed, but also kind of mad because you can hear me say, go suck a dick. Go suck my dick.
You were mad.
Oh, so hardcore.
Are you kidding?
This movie,
Are you kidding me?
This movie's so hardcore. Get with a soft. Are you kidding me?
Unless this is just some sort of insane vision.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Are you kidding me? This movie can suck a. Are you serious?
Whoa, really? Guess what? The whole entire thing was the prank.
No, not just the whole entire thing.
The entire thing. So
everyone is alive. Everyone's fucking alive.
When fucking Nan opens the door. No, not Nan.
No.
It is Nan. No, it's Kit.
Kit. Yes, Kit.
So Kit opens the doors after dodging Muffy's knife.
Yeah, Buffy's.
Muffy/Buffy. Well, I'm about to give the reveal.
Okay,
anyway.
go.
They open the doors.
I'm letting you reveal.
They look into the room. Every single person is alive, and everyone is there. Everyone is there, including the ferry captain. Everybody's still alive, and they all just kind of chill. And while Kit is there having an existential crisis, they all turn and she goes, "Oh, fuck it," and they all go, "April Fools!"
And I and both David and I, probably Abisme, who was watching this on silence, was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Oh my god,
lost my shit.
that was so good. Yeah, this whole thing was a horrible, if you think about it, a horrible thing to pull on someone.
Yes.
A very horrible, elaborate, well thought out April Fool's prank that apparently, according to Muffy, as she explains it later, she had to make other people think they were like going to be killed off before she revealed the prank to them. So then they were in on it. So they also went along with it. I don't know how she bothered to get, or how she managed to get facsimile severed heads and corpses of the people that were involved, but somehow she did that. I don't know. She has a lot of money. Maybe she made it work. Maybe she went to a prop shop or something. I don't fucking know.
So
all I know is that she made this work, and everybody was okay to go along with this so they could fucking traumatize Kit and Rob. And by the way, Rob is in the pantry freaking out.
Because
Buck walks up to him with the fucking eye hanging out, takes his prosthetic off, slaps it on Rob, and Rob is still freaking out. And Buck is all like, ha ha ha. They let him out. He runs into the other room, finds Kit, who's like, oh my God, I can't believe I went through this. These people went through psychological torture.
The funny part is,
wow.
So I know that in this episode, or in Jaymeson tapes, you're supposed to find a
spider room moment.
A spider room moment. And we're like, okay, I wonder what the spider room moment is. The fucking twist is the spider room moment.
And you know, it earned it. It earned the twist. It earned the twist. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was great.
I'm angry, but I'm also impressed because I did not see this twist coming. Both Tim and I were like, "Oh, it must be an evil twin or whatever."
But then they fucked us over too, which is great. This movie is so goddamn smart, and maybe I'm only saying that because I'm drunk right now. But I don't give a shit. I thought it was fun.
Maybe you should drink while watching this, because maybe
you know what, that might make it better. I'm gonna drink more, actually.
Well, I remember you said, well, what if this whole thing is like an escape room? But then Muffy, sorry, you're drinking while you're saying this. While I'm saying this. But Muffy reveals that she's about to inherit this in a month, and she wants to do something interesting with this.
She somehow has to prove to her parents that she's worthy of this inheritance to take over this estate, and that she can do something practical and financial with it. So she's going to turn it into a Agatha Christie style murder mystery bed and breakfast.
By the way, I would totally go to this.
Oh yeah, you kidding me?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, she's.
I mean, I'm not kidding you.
Okay, there never. Furthermore, there never was an evil twin. Although it is revealed that the Buffy that's referred to is actually Skip, whose name is like Buford or
whatever,
something stupid, some old money bullshit.
I'm just gonna keep calling him Skip. Skip is actually her twin brother, not her cousin.
Right. So he was the one we saw in the picture.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody else was not in on the prank until she cornered them. And then she brought them in on it, and they all played along. So everybody is still alive. So this is a movie that has a body count that also doesn't have a body count. I kind of love that, admittedly. The whole thing is one giant fucking prank.
And then Muffy is like, yeah, I'm planning to make this a whole murder mystery kind of bed and breakfast. And then they're like, yeah, let's celebrate with champagne. And I think there's a point where Chaz is like taking Muffy's head.
The prop Muffy head that they had earlier.
And then like pretending that she's sucking his dick or something like that.
And everyone's okay. They're like pouring champagne into the mouths of the prop severed heads. Like, this is... Here, everybody involved is surprisingly forgiving about the psychological trauma that is endured, which is hilarious.
But we found...
Oh, wonders. Yeah, right. Go ahead.
There's a double twist. Where Muffy is drunk on champagne.
Like we are on Dark and Stormies.
And she goes back to her room and sees a present. Oh no. She opens the present. It's a Jack in a Box.
Oh, yep. Flashbacks to that earlier scene.
And
she starts to wind it up.
And then someone slashes her throat, but it's an April Fool's joke. I think it's Nan.
It's either Nan or Kit.
We can't figure it out. I think it's basically one last prank of April Fool's, motherfucker.
Because it's just a prop knife with a blood packet attached to it. And then It was Nan. That's right. Okay, it was Nan.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's right, right. So Abysme pointed out she was in acting school with Muffy because they were in a
That's
play
right.
together.
Oh my god, that's right. Because okay.
Because she
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about them being in a play called Ghosts.
Yeah. In a play called Ghosts.
And the final shot is the Jack in the Box winking at the camera. This is a horror movie where no one dies.
Oh,
I
think the most bumfuck wild thing is that the Jack in the Box actually winks at the camera.
To be honest, okay, all this aside, I kind of love that this is a horror movie with no real body count.
Yes.
This is actually really fun.
Yes.
This is a really fun movie. And I went into this with zero expectations. I came out of it actually really loving it. And I'd recommend it to people who have never seen it before. That's why I was so keen about the spoilers earlier. This was so much fun. Now, apparently, this was also produced by a producer who's worked on several other horror movies, including maybe parts, I think it's like parts 4 and 5 of Friday the 13th, if I recall.
Hold on, I'm gonna look this up.
I'll pull up the description again real quick. This is, oh my God.
I love the fact that this, okay, so the director is Fred Walton.
Fred Walton, okay.
So he did April Fool's Day, but also did When a Stranger Calls, as well as The Stepford Husbands.
The Stepford Husbands, okay. That's much later.
I'm so drunk. What the fuck? How do you deal with this?
Alan, Abysme, I don't know how you do this, but I respect you both immensely for what you do right now. And for what it's worth, me and Kayla have had a very good time. I mean, maybe I can only speak for me, but I had a very good time doing this.
I had a good time.
We were both total lightweights. I completely recognize that. We still had a good time. I'm so glad we watched this movie. I will forever have a fond appreciation for this movie, for being a movie with a body count that also has no body count.
I love you, Alan and Abysme. You are the most beautiful people.
Thank you so much for letting us be a part of the Jaymeson tapes.
Oh, wait. We have to figure out a fucking...
Oh, okay. Yeah. We do have to invent a drink for this. So what was your... Is our spider room moment just the fucking reveal at the end? Because that feels so obvious.
Yeah, that's probably...
It has to be, because this whole movie is a setup for that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we have to come up with a drink now called the April Fools. What would we do for an April Fool?
It has to be a cocktail.
Okay. It has to surprise you at the end somehow.
And I'm looking at... So...
I want a disclaimer for anybody listening. Kayla and I are not mixologists. We do not have the same familiarity with alcoholic beverages that Abby and Alan do. And that's okay because we still enjoy it and we often go to them for recommendations for things. But we are not in the same bracket. So we're going to have to come up with something.
So luckily Google is an amazing best friend.
So let's think about it this way. This movie is an experience. We go about it all thinking one thing, and then it completely blindsides us at the end with something. So I feel like we need to have something that feels familiar, but then has a twist at the end.
So I will say, so I was looking up upscale drinks, and I saw something called Last Word, which is a very fitting.
That's true, because everybody in here. Okay, because I mentioned earlier, there's no comeuppance for everybody. Anybody in this movie have all the money. If anything, the lesson you take away from this is people who are rich fucks are still rich fucks and are assholes, not just to people who are not rich fucks, but to each other. So, fucking eat the rich. Fucking late stage capitalism is garbage. Fuck the rich.
So, Last Word, the ingredients for that includes gin, maraschino liqueur, chartreuse liqueur, and lime juice.
You know, that actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it actually does.
How do we change that to make it into something else?
So it needs to have a weird ass twist, like oh my god, what the fuck? What is something that's like an everyman's kind of drink?
Because everybody appreciates a prank, right? It's just prank, bro.
Yeah.
You splash in something like that's a cheap ass drink.
I'm trying to look up a prank cocktail.
Fucking put in like balls or something. I don't know.
Put in balls? You just put your dick into it?
No, I mean like fucking like the drink, like the soda drink. Like put balls in there.
So, because I gotta God bless Google for this.
God bless Google.
So they said pop in an egg, some salt and some pepper in rocks glass full of gin, and bang, you have a prairie chicken.
Prairie chicken?
So I think there should be something like a twist that's like, oh, that's very.
Well, keep in mind this is supposed to be like you're expecting something hard and something visceral, and then you end up realizing the whole thing was just an elaborate mix. So what if you replace one of the
Ooh.
ingredients with something non-alcoholic?
Okay, thank you, Google. So there's something called a gag reflex. So you mix it. It's a wild twist on a Bloody Mary. Thank you. Beer, vodka, and tomato juice, and then you add a drop of hot sauce and raw egg. I think that's what you do. Is that
But
drink?
someone's already come up with that. So, like,
no. Add the last word, which is the gin what was
chartreuse?
That? Chartreuse.
Wait, no, chartreuse is a color.
Liqueur and the maraschino liqueur, and then throw in the hot sauce and the egg, and then the raw egg.
God, I feel like you're trying to chase away the high that you just built up from drinking, and then suddenly making it like a pseudo prairie oyster.
You know what? What if you made it like a hot sauce? Add a hot sauce to it.
The garnish with fucking Tabasco. Do we call this the April Fools?
Yeah, we call this the April Fools.
You serve it to your friends, motherfucker. Serve it to your friends and watch them first enjoy it.
Call it the middle finger. The
middle finger. There it is. They call it the body count with no body count.
So it's the last word. Hold on. Stop fucking drink again. Hold up.
Are we too inebriated to do this?
Yes, we are. And I don't.
My face feels numb.
Mine does too. Oh my god. I'm putting it.
We've had like what 3, 4? I don't know.
3.
I don't want to say how much we've had because people are gonna realize how fucking shit we are in this.
I don't know how Abby prefer. Not Abby. I'm going to hell. I am going to hell. God damn it. And I still have my contacts in. Why am I oh my god. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
I need to look up the last word. So, gin, maraschino liqueur, chartreuse liqueur, and lime juice, but then throw in hot sauce.
That's our own addition to it, right?
Yes, hot. Yeah,
just a dash of hot sauce, just a smidge, so you don't know what's coming, but then you taste it and you're like, "Oh,
April Fool's motherfucker!"
April Fool's motherfucker!
I think this is a fun movie to watch.
Oh yeah, this was great. Oh man. Okay. Well, we came up with the drink. I think the onus is now off of us. I think we can leave this podcast with full minds and open hearts and completely inebriated stomachs.
Oh my god. Abby and Alan, I love you. But holy shit, I don't know how you do this.
All I can say is if you listen to all this without watching this movie, I'm so sorry. But also not really, because you chose to keep listening. Hopefully you'll still enjoy the movie when you watch it, because us explaining it doesn't no justice. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. I'm so glad we got to be a part of this podcast for April Fool's Day. Please stay tuned, because releasing on the same day will be the Alley.
Oh no!
That's your ship name. The Alley episode of Undercooked Analysis.
Abysme and Alan is Abysme.
That's your ship name. It's Alley.
Abysme and Alan's ship name is Alley.
Oh, it's so
congratulations!
Good.
You have a ship name. Yay! Wow, we are so drunk. Ow!
Okay, we've gone too far.
Yes, we did.
Thank you all. Okay, I'm gonna try.
Okay, do it, Dad.
Thank you all so much for listening to the Jaymeson tapes and for your support. We hope you enjoyed this April Fool's episode. Good night, and God bless.
April Fools, motherfuckers!
The Jaymeson Tapes is hosted and created by Alan Cheney and Abysme. If you have a movie suggestion for the podcast, please leave a comment, message us on the Creative Horror Discord, or tweet at Creative Horror with the hashtag Jaymeson Tapes. Creative Horror is a network of creators working together to build a constructive community of horror fans. Please visit us at creativehorror.com.